My name is Khaled Salmeen I have been acting as the CEO of KEZAD from the start, and now I am the chairman of Abu Dhabi Terminals, which is the operator of Khalifa Port in Abu Dhabi. When ADPC started the project, we had a lot of our manpower was through international consultants. Basically, the company started with like 4 or 5 people, and it was basically an organization built around the project, and that project was delivered by international consultants. To be able to develop the leadership and to be able to fill in the gaps, there is always a need for self-development, and I think that's where Indigogold came in. At the executive level, we felt that doing a personalized approach that looks at each individual at the leadership level, looking at what are the specific areas of strength, capability, as well as potentially the areas that they would like to develop further. I was expecting that I'm going to be, basically like a Legos, so taken apart and put back together in a different way. That was not the case, especially in my scenario. It was actually very smooth. It turned out that really it depends on how much you know about yourself versus what you think you are, and that really sometimes require realignment, and sometimes the realignment is a lot simpler because you're self-aware. Indigogold have a special approach about going through such programs. It usually has a number of elements, and these elements I believe are constants, and it's about finding what you believe are your strengths and weaknesses and areas of development and so on, and then checking that against different types of methods. Doing a 360, so involving, in my case, for example, we involved around 20 people, where they completed the 360 survey on me. That included people from the government, customers, as well as colleagues, superiors, and subordinates. That was one key element. Then completing a lot of surveys on myself, what I thought, and a number of them, each one of them targeted at a different area of your personality, leadership style, and so on. Completing those, and then taking all of that data and trying to make some sense of it and talking it out in a number of sessions. I think that process is a very enlightening one, because people are able to communicate with the Indigogold consultants on how things are. It's done always in top confidentiality. It's not in a written form. It's usually a face-to-face or a telephone interview, so there are not a lot of writing, so people don't feel like they have to hide too much, and they're able to speak their mind. And I think that process by itself gets you a platform of where you believe you are, and where people see that your capability, strengths, weaknesses, and leadership style, and all the other facets are. And that together, when you take all of that and put it back together, you end up seeing whatever you end up with. And in different situations, it's shocking, and people are like, oh my God, is this really the case? I have not really realized. Or some people will be like, yeah, I'm aware of that, okay, so how do we work on it? And that becomes the next step. So the next step is, it looks at all different types of capability curves. It looks at all areas of strengths and weaknesses. It looks at different concepts of how you manage and where you should be heading with your career, and what are the things where you can do much, much better, and how can you avoid or bridge the gaps where you have by using resources within the organization or delegating it to people that have more of that space. So it really is a very customized, personalized approach that gives a lot of clarity, and that's why it's called an insight program, right? It gives you a lot of insight about yourself, and I think that is been one of the best I've ever attended. At the end of this process, you end up with basically a report that you go through a number of versions of as the process gets more and more advanced. That report becomes really a very valuable report. If you follow the process in a way where you wanted to actually benefit from that report I carried in my bag for almost a year. And I've referred to it a lot, but it also gave me some tools of how to deal with specific areas such as stakeholder management and stuff like that. What are the key elements to mitigate potentially some of the weaknesses or the ways that I used to do it that could potentially be bettered? And that has added a lot of value to me. If you don't want to dig deep and figure out what are the issues, then this is not the right program for you. If you want to be able to get a deep insight, understand really what are the key parameters and how the whole jug puzzle puts together, then I would definitely say that this is one of the better ones out there.